Welcome to the Vernon Hills Update. The update offers information about a variety of village services. You'll meet a few of your neighbors and you'll find out about upcoming events. On today's show, we'll head over to Century Park to learn about the 8th annual Little Bear Rib Fest, which will be held August 17th and 18th. The Park District invites you to stop by and enjoy a mix of blues, brews, and barbecue. We'll check in with entomologist George Ballas to learn what Clark is doing to control mosquitoes and other pests around the village, as well as what we can do to protect our own families. We'll look ahead to the 14th annual Law Enforcement Exhibition planned for September 8th and 9th at Hawthorne Mall. This free event is supported by agencies from across the region and includes everything from training simulators to canine demonstrations. And we'll hear a song from country star David Nail, who performed at last month's summer celebration. Thank you for tuning in to the Vernon Hills Update.
We are by beautiful Big Bear Lake, and I mean beautiful. Our parks in town are amazing, aren't they? And we're with Jack Shear. He's a recreation supervisor from the Vernon Hills Park District. And Jack, we're over here today. It's a peaceful, beautiful day in Century Park. But we're here to talk about something that's it's a little bit louder, a little bit more fun. You've got an event coming up in August that we're all excited about.
Yeah, Little Bear Rib Fest. It's going to be our 8th year of the Rib Fest here. Going to be having a mix of blues, brews, and barbecue. So
I'm glad you say that because I can't quite get that.
it's a mouthful.
You've practiced for almost 8 years on that one. So yeah, and this is coming up. It's a Friday, Saturday, adult themed kind of thing. Adult in that it's like there's beverages, adult beverages. There's barbecue. There's blues music. It isn't like the carnival kind of thing. It's more of it's a blues fest.
Right. Kids are welcome to come, but it's geared more towards adults with the beer tent and no games or anything.
We just don't want the kids disappointed. They're welcome here. I just don't want them disappointed because they can't find the midways.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're talking Friday and Saturday, August 17th and 18th, right here. It's the same place we do kind of summer sell. You set it up a little bit differently. Can you talk about how this is something that the Park District has been doing for 8 years? I mean, because you think to yourself, a fest, why do that? And I know one of the reasons is you've got a great space for it.
Right, yeah. When Marty Walsh started this 8 years ago, he wanted something geared for the adults to do in Vernon Hills, something for leisure and using our beautiful parks here. And, this is our biggest one, so we're making it happen.
Well, and you're also, this event supports Park District programming. It helps defray some of the costs. So if you've got people that can't afford, the daycare services or and they want to use the physical fitness areas and they can't afford it, you've got some scholarships available, right. And this supports those scholarships.
Yeah, it's a $5 admission to get in to the Rib Fest, and all that goes to our scholarship fund, and we give that to families so that their kids can go to summer camp.
Yeah, exactly. So you're using the parks. You're giving us some leisure for us, perhaps less active adults, although we can dance. There's a lot of dancing that goes on here, and you're supporting that scholarship fund. Now let's talk about, so there's $5 to get in. If you're under 5, it's free though, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, and when you get here, what are you going to see when you come in?
So you're going to see rib vendors. We'll have 5 vendors this year, all local. And then we're going to have our beer tent as usual. And new this year, we're going to have a bourbon tent kind of by the sponsor area. So we'll be featuring a number of nice bourbons for people to try out, and that'll be for purchase as well, like the beer tent.
So how does that work? Do you have to pay to get into the tent, or how does that work?
No, it's just going to be a bar, kind of like the beer tent. You walk up and we'll sell tickets like we do with the beer.
And you said then I could take a bottle home, or I can just buy a glass?
No, it's just a glass. We'll pour just the glass for you there.
Okay, just as somebody who enjoys a little bourbon, I just want to make sure I know what I'm getting into there. So when you say buy tickets, because you've got people here that are checking IDs, and you got to get a wristband and that whole thing.
Yeah, we'll have a booth where you can buy your beer tickets, just like you do at Summer Sell and Rib Fest in the past. It'll be the same setup for the bourbon tent.
And when we talk about the barbecue vendors, I know you've got people like, you've got Real Urban and Barbecue Productions and Big Ed's and Smoke and Teas and Brothers, and those are the kind of, those guys are the go-to, and they got different styles and different plates, but I know that in the past you've said like a full plate of ribs and sides, about $25. So it's like kind of the same as going out to eat, but you get to do it here.
Oh yeah, yeah. It'll cost you a bit, but it's totally worth it, and you're gonna be full. You know, people split it sometimes and try different lines out and everything. It's
Well, I know,
nice.
that's what you'll hear people talking about. Well, I like this chicken, but I like these, beef tips or whatever.
Yeah.
So everybody's trying a little bit of everything. Now let's get to the part that everybody is really interested in. They come from a long ways for this, and it's the blues. You get a lineup here that kind of unusual for a suburban place like Vernon Hills, I would say. But you've got some great music coming in, and it starts 7 o'clock on Friday night with Corey Dennison.
Yeah, Corey Dennison, guy he plays in Chicago twice a week over at Kingston Mines. So I believe he got Grammy nominated this year for an album, and so he's gonna liven it up, start the show. It's gonna be great.
And then you move on at 9 o'clock, Wayne Dopsy and the Zydeco Hellraiser.
Yeah, Dwayne Dopsy, he's from Louisiana. He's grew up in the Zydeco family, and Zydeco's it's part of the blues genre, but it's a little more upbeat, using accordion and a washboard. People will be dancing all night.
That's good. Yeah, so that's the other thing. Bring your dancing shoes. Be comfortable, but you can bring your lawn chairs and your blankets and stuff too to sit around and watch when you're not dancing.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Saturday now, because this is a Saturday thing. 5 o'clock, you start out early with the Mike Wheeler Band.
Yeah, Mike Wheeler, another Chicago guy. Great band coming in. They're going to start us off with a great set.
And then you move 7 o'clock, the Chicago Blues Super Session. That 7 o'clock session, a lot of people like these super sessions because it's like a jam that goes on, and you never know who's going to be there.
Right. The Super Session, we had them 2 years ago, and it was just phenomenal. These guys, some of them from Chicago, some of them travel from around the country. They get together, and each one of them could have a full show on their own. But putting them all together, they jam, and it's something special.
Yeah, that's one of those things everybody like. And then 9 o'clock on Saturday night, Mud Morganfield. He's like the big act then.
Yeah, he's our headliner, Mud Morganfield. He's the son of Muddy Waters, actually, legendary blues player. So born and raised in Chicago, he knows it all when it comes to blues.
That's quite a lineup then we got here right in Vernon Hills.
Yeah.
And as you said, the price to hear this concert is $5 at the gate.
Yep, just $5.
There you go. That's pretty nice. That's quite an event. So let's remind everybody, coming up on Friday the 17th of August and Saturday the 18th of August right here. Parking, I know sometimes people get a little stressed about that, but you can park over at the mall and just walk right over. It's about a block.
Right, it's not too far of a walk.
And you've got a drop-off zone right here in front, or if you've got somebody that needs a little help, you can find them. There is limited handicap parking available.
Correct. Yep, it'll be right on the front here.
And we always like to remind people when it comes to stuff here, no pets, because I know sometimes people think it's cool to bring like their boa constrictor and their, pet lion, but no pets unless it's a service animal, no coolers brought in, no beverages brought in.
Yeah, yep.
There you go. So that's just the mom in me. I don't want somebody surprised when they have to take their boa constrictor home, because those things freak me out. So that's the day. That's RibFest, 8th annual RibFest. That's pretty exciting. And if people want to know more, there's a lot of information online. You just buy your tickets when you walk up here, enjoy the night. And you've got a lot of people that help on this. You've got corporate sponsors, the village and Public Works and the police department. It's kind of a community effort.
Absolutely.
And I know you've got a lot of partners like MB Financial, Rust-Oleum. We've got that list of those people. Those guys make a lot of this stuff possible around town. Awesome corporate partners.
Yep, they're great.
Okay. So if you want to know more, go online.
Yep,
Nice.
vhparkdistrict.org.
Very good. And there's actually a Little Bear RibFest section that you can even look and see maps and all kinds of stuff, FAQs. You've got it loaded up. You can even, I think, click and hear some of the music.
Yeah, you can go to the band's website. It's all there, the links.
There you go. So if you want to know more, go online. If you see this guy, ask him some questions. He's become like the blues guy for Vernon Hills. That's pretty cool. So, and mostly just come by and have a good time. It's a great time for Vernon Hills. So thank you guys at the Park District for putting this together.
Yeah, thanks, Lynn.
Well, we are outside and around town in Vernon Hills, and we're here to talk to our favorite entomologist, George Ballas from Clark. Thanks for taking the time for this annual talk where you talk to us about critters and managing the critters and mosquitoes, and this has been a year for that.
It has been a very interesting year, very wet, very hot this year so far.
And that makes a lot of work for you because it's the cycles. You work with the life cycles, particularly of mosquitoes, but all those other critters out in the wild.
Yeah, mosquitoes really use the environmental factors that are given each and every year, and that's where we're seeing this year a very hot and wet year, which means more mosquitoes than usual.
Well, let's back up and talk about Clark. Clark's been in this business a long time. You're an expert not just for Vernon Hills. You really cover a lot of ground. Can we talk about your expertise and your methods and how that all came together?
We really run an integrated pest management approach for Vernon Hills, but we cover about 55 communities here in Lake County, and we work with communities around the world on their mosquito control programs.
And I've seen you have other divisions too where you work with aquatic life, and you guys are just really, you guys are like mad scientists doing things.
We work with a lot of environmental issues, water issues, as well as insect issues, and primarily with exterior problems.
Okay, so let's talk about when you talk about how you work with the environment and figure out how to control these populations. You guys do work at the life cycle. You have multiple prongs that you use when your counts require it. So can you back up and start how you know it's bad? I mean, we know it's bad when we go out and it's been rainy and all of a sudden there's a new crop, but how you monitor and then what you do next.
We utilize several traps within the village to determine population density and distribution, as well as other risk factors like West Nile virus in the area. That's kind of our surveillance arm. We go out and check standing water areas throughout the village, all different types of ponds, ditches, wetlands, to see if mosquitoes are breeding in those areas, and then do treatments as well to control the mosquitoes before they become flying adults. And then the point that most people think about is when the flying adults, the females, are out taking blood meals, then we'll do adult mosquito control on a village-wide basis, and that's based on that initial surveillance that we do.
Okay, so when you are spraying, and you always give notice, so if you need that notice, you can check with the village, but you do that like in the evening because that's when those adult mosquitoes are out feeding.
Yeah, all the adult mosquitoes are treated during the evening hours because that's when they're most active, and so we're able to control the largest number of mosquitoes at that time. So really after the sun sets till the sun rises the next day.
Okay, so you're doing like the catch basins and the ponds, and you're getting the larvae before they hatch. I guess that's the right word, and then you're spraying afterward. And this cycle has to continue though, based on the wet and the dry spell.
Yeah, it really goes all the way from May all the way to October. Most people don't think about mosquitoes until usually June when we start seeing flying adults, but the program actually starts a month before that and will actually continue later into the season because of the risk of virus continues into the end of September.
Okay, so when we talk about the risks, because we talk about being nuisances, mosquitoes are nuisances, especially in that dusk time. But you mentioned West Nile that you monitor for as well, and then other things you can get from mosquitoes and all these things.
Yeah, really, West Nile virus is the prominent virus that we would see from mosquitoes, and it's really carried by a type of mosquito that truly feeds on birds most of the season, but later in the year feeds on humans. And so what we're trying to do is reduce that population below a certain threshold to reduce that risk overall. So really quality of life or nuisance, and then disease. So the program really handles both of those through that integrated pest management approach.
And we talk about things that you've talked about what you do, but I know you do things with your family as well. And it's not like you've changed you can't change how you live your life just to avoid mosquitoes. Or you and I've talked about ticks as well. That's something that's in the news right now. People are nervous about being outside and if they get bit by a tick. But your point is you have to live your life in a certain way, and there's ways you can do it and reduce your risk. Can we talk about that?
Yeah. So the first thing is if you don't have to be out when mosquitoes are most active, usually after the sun sets or right before that, that's one way of reducing it. But if you have to be out for any sporting events or any parties, things of that sort, you can use mosquito repellents. And there's different types of mosquito repellents. DEET-based repellents are kind of the gold standard. Picaridin-based products, IR35 or oil of lemon eucalyptus can all be used. They're different types of repellents. People can use either type and they're very effective in that way. But also just trying to getting rid of standing water around your own home. So artificial containers, anything that's going to be holding water, tip those over or toss those out, and that will help stop mosquitoes from breeding right around your yard.
Well, I know you've said, it doesn't have to be the size of a pool to cause a problem. It could be the size of a little saucer you've got out for like maybe to feed the birds, and you put seed in it. If it fills with a little bit of water, that could be a mosquito breeding ground.
Yeah, so water is the lowest common denominator for mosquito breeding. So sometimes when we're driving around town, we'll see little maple trees growing out of gutters. Usually that means there's some water in there as well. So cleaning out your gutters, bird baths, but we see it in buckets that are behind people's garages, wheelbarrows that have weeds in there, and you might have picked over the weekend, rainfall comes in, fills up that wheelbarrow with just a little bit of water. That's where mosquitoes can really flourish.
Well, and they stay close to where they pop up. So it's like if you've got something like that, it's going to make for a population in your yard.
Yeah, mosquitoes can go very long distances, over a mile for some, over 15 miles for others, but mosquitoes would rather take a blood meal as close to where they came off because their whole concept is reproduction and then continuing that cycle.
Well, and you talked about sprays. You've got the different sprays you can use, and you can spray your clothes, you can spray your kids. You do that yourself, so we know it's, and those things also work when it comes to like the other critters, like the ticks and stuff too. So if you're outside, a DEET product, if you're concerned, the benefits outweigh what you can, the cost.
Absolutely. So ticks are repellents that have DEET or picaridin and can work against ticks as well. So wearing repellents when you're in areas that ticks can be active is very important, but you could also use that for mosquitoes. So most areas that you're worried about ticks, you're most likely worried about mosquitoes at the same time.
So it does double duty. So it's good stuff to have around. And you've got some stuff in your hand too, so we'll show people some of the things. But what have you got right there? You've got
This is a small product that we use in the storm drains, the catch basins, to control mosquitoes. And each one of these is placed in the basin. This will last for 30 days in the basin, and that'll control the breeding that goes on in that basin. And then here we have just one of the repellents, one of the 4 repellents that we have that can work for mosquitoes.
And when we talk about those catch basins, is that when we see the bicycles coming through and they pop a little tablet down in and that takes care of things for 30 days then?
Yeah, so we utilize the bicycles. It gives a little less wear and tear on the roads as well in the village, but also we can get around and actually treat more storm drains using those bikes than we were able to use with larger size trucks.
Excellent. Well, we'll see you around. We see you around the village and your people around. And if people want to know more, I know you're very accessible by email or phone call. You guys are there to answer questions, but your website does have a lot of information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all that they have to do is go to clark.com, or they can reach out to us at hotline@clark.com if you want to send us an email.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you for all you and your crew are doing. And let's get through the rest of this summer with a little bit fewer critters, which is what you're helping us do. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Lynn. You have a great day.
We are at Hawthorne Mall, mostly because it's nice and hot out here. Kim Christensen, representing the Vernon Hills Police Department. We're here, though, because we want to talk about the 14th Annual Law Enforcement Exhibition, Saturday, Sunday, September 8th and 9th, beginning of September, here at the mall. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Here we go. It's another year.
I think you just summed it up right there. Yes, another year for our 2-day law enforcement exhibition at Hawthorne Center right behind us here.
When we talk about that, so then all the common areas like the walkways and all that, when people come to see September 8th and 9th, you're going to see just about every kind of police vehicle, first responder equipment.
You're going to see all kinds of vehicles, Jeeps, or maybe not Jeeps, but probably a couple Humvees. We'll have bicycles. We have a lot of agencies that have already signed up for it. And I expect to hear from many more between now and beginning of September. So we're going to have vehicles, 911 simulator, a demonstration. Something new this year, we are going to have, the Deerfield Police Department has asked if they can do a child safety seat check. So that will be in the parking lot. We haven't determined exactly where yet or what time, but it looks like from about 8 or 9 hours on Saturday, the 8th, they are going to do a safety seat check in the parking lot. So those people that have child safety seats in their vehicle is a perfect time to have them checked out.
Yeah, check them, and they can help you figure out how they're supposed to be in there, because sometimes that is not an easy task.
Yeah, it's what it's all about. But anybody else, you come during normal mall hours on Saturday and Sunday that day, you're going to see vehicles. You're going to see a lot of canine demonstrations, things like that.
Let's talk about K9 because that is one of those. The schedule isn't ready yet. That's something you can go online and see, but those K9 demonstrations are something else.
They are amazing. Typically, we'll have 3 of them on Saturday and 2 of them on Sunday. Stagger them throughout the day, so pretty much anybody that comes on Saturday and Sunday, they'll be able to see a fabulous 10, 15, 20-minute canine demonstrations from one of the many canines that we have in Lake County. Hey, like you said, I haven't worked on the schedule yet. It's still in the planning stages because right now we're in early August, or excuse me, early July, late July, whatever we are right now. So, but it'll work out. So, visit vhpd.com and you'll be able to see when those things are scheduled and how they work out. But year after year after year, it's a wonderful time and a great educational opportunity. A lot of giveaways for kids. They can walk out there with stickers and badges and all kinds of happy stuff from all these different agencies, and it's a great opportunity for the agencies there to show what they got, and great community relations tool for everybody.
And we don't want to put anybody on the spot, but we do know that you literally get a dozen of these it isn't just Vernon Hills, and it isn't just like, but it's all the communities around. They're all like, yeah, we can pitch in on this. Let's get somebody over there.
It is a big commitment for a lot of these agencies because you have to have a vehicle there. You have to have it manned for the weekend, table set up, have giveaways. It is a big commitment. And last year we had about 24 law enforcement and law enforcement related agencies involved in one way or the other throughout the weekend. And I expect this year it's going to be pretty much the same.
It's a good place, like you said. It's outreach, it's community, it's great for the kids. It's great for if you want to see how our first responders and our police and everybody works together, or if you're interested in a career, that's a place where you can ask a lot of questions.
Absolutely, great questions. And it's also a time where children can come in and have their picture taken with as many cops as they want, because it's like a photo opportunity in the mall for 2 weeks, or excuse me, for 2 days. And it wouldn't be possible, not only with all the agencies that we have throughout the area that come participate, but also thanks to Hawthorne Center and the management there and the security people and the engineering department and everybody at Hawthorne helps pull this off, because it is quite an undertaking. It's a lot of planning and preparation on everybody's part.
Well, I was going to say the night before, you guys are rolling in vehicles and sliding doors and moving things around, and it's like getting a lot of ships in a bottle.
It is a big parade of police cars around when the mall closes on that Friday. They all have to go in together. For efficiency and for safety purposes. They all go in together when the mall closed. The people are out, and at 6 o'clock on Sunday when the mall closes, they all come back out. It's quite a spectacle, it really is.
Well, like you said, thank you to all those local agencies that take part. You've got, and some of the things that are more like the regional places. Just it's a great time to see all these folks and thank them. Thank you to them all. And I know you always get free food and everything else because everybody just is looking out for you guys as much as we can.
Well, we try to take care of the people. And also, I'm glad you brought that up because thank you to Dave and Buster's and Maggiano's and those places like that also help. We keep the people that are there, not the citizens, but the agencies and the members of the agencies that are there for the whole weekend representing those communities and helping us to make this a successful event. They get fed. We take care of them. And that also comes from thank you to Maggiano's and Dave & Buster's and other places that help us pull that off.
Well, this is cool. So it's the 14th Annual Law Enforcement Exhibition at Hawthorne Mall, Saturday, Sunday, September 8th and 9th. Go online, vhpd.com, go to the Facebook and all that, and there it is. And we got a couple more dates. If you're watching this in early August, one more plug for National Night Out.
Tuesday, August 7th, Hartman Park on Oakwood Road, 4 to 8 p.m.
There you go.
And then get some food.
It's free. All of it's free, and it's a lot of fun. And one of the most fun things, I think, is you've got bounce houses and all that, but you got, like, countryside. If it's nice out, they spray the kids with water. That is, like, the thing. It's usually next. It's early August, so it's going to be beautiful weather, I'm sure. And they'll have their water spray out there, and the kids can run through and get stopping wet all they want. It's a fun time. And then let's also give a plug to Motors on Milwaukee, the car show with Hart. You've got some officers that always put that together. That sits out in front of Sears in the parking lot. Thank you to Sears for that. August 22nd, September 26th. Those are like, though, if it looks like it's going to rain, nobody brings their fancy cars out. So you got to look at the Facebook. Right, and we like anybody that comes and participates and comes and views and takes advantage of the wonderful opportunity to see some of these great vehicles, to bring either a new or gently used coat
for the VA Veterans Closet, or some non-perishable food for a local food pantry as well.
And we talk about that Veterans Closet. The Midwest Veterans Closet does great work, and it's getting to be that time when they got to start loading up so that they can keep our veterans warm. So gently used winter items are going to go fast.
Thank you very much.
All right. So thank you. Remember, go online, check all this stuff out. A lot of fun stuff to do, a lot of great stuff. Thanks, Kim, and thank you to the whole Vernon Hills Police Department.
Thank you very much. We'll see everybody in September 8th and 9th at the mall.
We'll close the Vernon Hills Update with a song from country star David Nail, who performed at last month's Vernon Hills Summer Celebration. And thank you for tuning into the Vernon Hills Update.
Stars in the weather, they won't last forever. But we've got them lined up right now. We both know in the morning I'll probably be going chasing the sunshine sound. I'm a half-fast boy, I'm crazy and I know just one step ahead or behind. Ain't much for the morning, but I've always been good at tonight. Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. Go ahead and guess all you want. There's no rhyme or reason for wasting time thinking how one's gonna go right or wrong. I'm a straight shot, no chaser, one chance and I'll take it. You can come along for the ride. I should come with a warning, yeah, I've always been good at tonight. Come on! Come on and dance with me and throw your arms around me. I feel that fire in your eyes. Let's take it all right now. Before that moon goes out, kiss me like there's no goodbye. I'm a stone laying the road, but I've always been good at tonight. The stars in the weather, they won't last forever. We've got 'em lined up just right. Who cares where we're going? 'Cause we're getting good at tonight. Come on, Eleanor. Come on and dance with me and throw your arm around me. I feel that fire in your eyes. Let's take it all right now. Before that moon goes